Welcome to Chaotic Harmony. My name is John.
This is Crystal. We talk about the joys and the challenges of teaching music in the elementary school classroom.
We share struggles, we brainstorm solutions.
And we would love to have you join us. Hi, John.
Hey, hey.
Episode 75.
75.
It's a fish.
It's a fish. It's not a bear, it's a fish.
It's a fish.
How do we get here?
One episode at a time, much like teaching.
Recorded matches, mind you. We are telling the secret sauce behind this, but...
Oh, it's the only way we've been able to keep it up. Yeah, with any kind of regularity. Yeah. No, but I'm glad that we have, and this feels like a milestone. This is a big deal.
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal. Yeah. We've got a big topic today.
If we do indeed.
I just decided to go for it. Name it why magnet charts suck. We're going to talk about magnet charts and how much they suck.
Okay, fun fact. I used to think they were the bee's knees.
I think we all did. I did too. I used one for years.
I used to think it was like, wait, maybe it's not the charts. Maybe it's just how I'm doing it. And I went through a couple of revisions. I think this is the second year I've ever... No, because online. So this is the third year I've not used it.
You've not used a behavior chart?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had one for years and it's shifted, and I finally abandoned behavior charts. And so we're going to talk about that, and I think we can also open up the discussion so you can start thinking about it to being more about rules or procedures that didn't work so well that you've changed. Okay. So I know that for me that's changed so many times. Okay. All right, so we're going to talk about behavior charts. Okay. I was thinking... and this is what I used my first year in the classroom, of the classic behavior sign where everybody starts off on the green light and it's like a stoplight, and then yellow is a reminder that it's time to change your behavior, and then if it gets on red, then there's some sort of consequence. So most teachers have something like that in their classroom, and a lot of times there's clothespins with the kids' names on it, or magnets with their number on it, and they move up or down. Right. Yeah, and the more research I've done into behavior management strategies, the more I am convinced that they are not best practice and that we shouldn't be using them. So that's what we're going to get into.
For me, it's not just that. It's also just keeping track of it all in such a short time.
So for you, it's a practicality thing too.
It's a both. Like I feel like there needs to be there needs to be some sort of accountability, but also these magnets like that I've showcased. It's just I only have 40 minutes with these kids. Yeah. So how do I want to create a system that is not just makes the classroom run well and caring, and but also just runs with the time we have. Otherwise, the kids are just going to be twiddling their thumbs waiting for Jason to move his magnet.
That makes sense.
If your name is Jason, by the way, I am so sorry, but
that's always your bad kid.
Well, because I've been tired of being called John, the bad kid. So
little Johnny.
Little Johnny. No, we gotta find a new one. Jason. I apologize, Jason, but it is what it is.
That is funny. I don't think I've ever had you explain why your bad kid is Jason.
There we go.
Now I know.
Origin story.
I also don't think I've ever taught a Jason.
Oh, I've taught a couple. They've never been terrible kids, though.
That's not true. I have taught a Jason. It's been a while, though. Okay, so magnets, though. Okay, I have a problem with them. Okay, but I didn't.
So why do you?
I didn't start having a problem with them until I had my own kids, and I realized, my own biological children, and I realized how much shame was attached to the magnet being moved down.
Expound.
Well,
do you have a narrative?
Sure. I don't know at this point, because it's been a while.
Sure. Okay.
I don't know at this point if I can attach a specific memory to it, but I do have a recollection of of one or both of the boys being upset because their magnet got moved down that day, and it was never framed as I'm going to take responsibility for my behavior. It was shame. Yeah. It was just full shame, and it just superseded anything positive that could have happened in the day. And then also in talking with my friends who have kids, I'm thinking in particular of one who has a kindergartner this year, and he is a very typical wiggly little boy, and he ends almost every day getting picked up from school by mom and having the teacher basically be like, she starts out, how was your day? And he looks at her, good. And then the teacher will be like, no, you need to tell her what you did. And then how sad is that,
Yeah.
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 Yeah, so that's when I started really reevaluating, like, is this effective? Is this creating the environment that I wanted to create? Is it getting the message across? And is it making my room a safe, joyful, creative space?
Sure.
And I just didn't think so. And I had it to where, like, all the kids have a number, and so I would just take a picture of where the magnets landed, and then there's my citizenship score. And so it was pretty easy for me. And then I had one kid reset at the end of class. I had procedures, but I just no longer see it as a good thing.
Yeah. I remember my first year I had some sort of diminutive element to it. And I also actually, no, that's not true. I had it for until the magnets were done. Similar, like, I tried to create a good way of explaining it's not so much that you are a bad person. You are moving out, you're just making the group, you're affecting the group in doing so. So but it doesn't matter if you explain it. It still is, in the end, you're walking over to that board to move that magnet.
Yeah, you are moving that magnet.
Yeah, because I'm not going to move the magnet. Too much time lost. But like the kid moving the magnet.
Right.
But also, I think another thing that broke me was my hardest cohort right now my hardest cohort I've ever taught is currently in 5th grade.
Okay.
And they just were very mature for their age, and some not, but but they recognized what this was. And so on occasion, if the class was hectic enough, they knew the class was hectic enough, they can get away with it, just moving magnets wherever they wanted to.
Yeah.
And not so much like moving magnets back, just like wherever.
Right.
Create chaos.
Yeah. That kind of reminds me of how my number 20 sit spot disappeared a couple weeks ago. No idea where it went.
Yeah. So because of that, and also because I'm using more instruments, because as I mentioned in the first episode y'all interviewed me, I had nothing. And now that I have instruments that if they aren't able to properly use them, then they're placed away. Or that's the consequence.
Yeah.
They aren't able to participate for a short period of time.
But they can prove.
They can showcase that they can come back in.
Yeah, their body is calm and they're ready to come back. Yeah.
So that's the thing. Instruments have been a huge aid towards that movement. And I'm still trying to find a way of using, because for lower graders, they don't use, sometimes they don't use instruments, they just sing and they move. So what's their response to that? There are methods I have tried that work on occasion, but I think because of that element you mentioned about the whole shame element, I've tried to place it away for the most part.
Well, and I think something that really made me think about them in that way as well, with the shame element, is somebody posted years ago on just some dumb social media site, I don't remember which one, about we think it's okay to put magnet charts that showcase the behavior of one child to the rest of the class, but we would go on strike if our principal decided to put something like that up in the break room for all of us. And that one made me think, it's we would not do that for adults. That's true. And it also inspired me that year to make myself a behavior chart for the classroom. And I told the kids it was just for Mrs. Pridmore, and it was an accountability measure, and they could tell me how I was doing. And some of the kids who had some magnet chart trauma were really into my behavior chart.
So, curious, because I'm guessing you don't do this. Do you still do this now?
I don't anymore. It was a one-time thing.
How did you gauge that? I'm curious. Was it a collective element? They said what your end of the day
It was really interesting. No, they would raise their hand and they would tell me how I'm doing if I needed to go up or down. And it was really interesting because they would debate with each other. If somebody was like, I don't think that's okay, Miss Pridmore, you need to move your magnet down. Another kid was like, she just needed to tell us because we weren't doing the right thing. It was really interesting.
And then Parliament was formed.
Yeah, right? It was an interesting experiment for the year.
Yeah.
And it was I did it last year. It was one of my things to try to win everybody back after the pandemic. And because 6th grade behavior was just not good. But it was really interesting because we were I don't even remember why we were talking about behavior charts, but the behavior charts came up and somebody was talking to me about their behavior chart from kindergarten. They'd gone to a different school. They didn't go to our school, but they remembered it in detail. And 7 years later, like remembered, going up and down on what the 5 difference level were. Yeah. Huh. And it was clearly not a good memory. And I was like, that's not how I want somebody to feel when they're thinking about my class 7 years later.
Because, as we mentioned in the last episode, solid classroom management is the rapport you build with them.
Yeah. And a feeling of safety. Yep.
Yeah.
And so how can we manage the behaviors that we want to see? How can we encourage, I should say, the behaviors that we want to see and help nullify the ones that we don't without public shaming?
Yeah. Did I tell you about the one that I was trying to create and my Vapa team shot me down for it?
No, what was it?
Oh man, it was great, but it would never work. But it was beautiful. So
I want to hear about it.
So what it was is it was a school-wide monetary system.
Okay.
So everyone gets money for behavior. Money's also taken away for behavior. But
like not real money, like school money.
School money, yeah.
Gotcha, yeah.
But this is the kicker. On one of my walls, I would have how each of the classes collectively were doing. And then kids could then invest stock into one of the classes. And doing so, they can choose, this class has it. I'm actually going to sabotage my own class.
Oh my gosh.
So that it would have been a great means of like understanding more of like outside school. It's terrible. No, but
that's ridiculous.
It would have been an experiment.
That sounds like the topic of like one of those wimpy kid books. Like that's what that feels like.
One year we'll do it. There we go.
It's so stupid. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I just look back at a lot of things that I did, and it's one of those things where it makes the teacher feel better in the moment to be like, move your magnet down, and it's like I did a thing, and that's a consequence, and then it's a reminder for me later to follow up with the family. But how does it feel for the student who's walking up to the board?
To be quite frank, thing. I never liked it.
Yeah,
I've never liked it. I've never even liking.
There's plenty of times where it made me feel better. I'll be honest.
I feel sad whenever because like I don't want you to feel sad, but like you were being a butt in my class, and like, dude, just stop.
Yeah.
And so it's a quick measure. That's
I felt that way too, but there are sometimes where
I understand.
You're just done with that little.
I think the thing is, I always knew that it was never going to solve anything for the long term, but and so.
Yeah.
So what's your approach now?
Well, I have a lot of them. For a while, I did a whole class approach where it was like I had a xylophone on the board and we started on a high note and then we'd all slide down together. And I'm not doing that this year.
You weren't? Okay.
I haven't touched it. It's still on my board, but I have not touched it because it just hasn't felt good. Now I'm just trying to get better at attaching the consequences immediately to the to whatever the action is and the deviation from what I was looking for. And so, for example, last Wednesday I had a class that was goofing off, and they just weren't engaging with the lesson, and they were being very difficult. And I was like, okay, well, you know what? I can see that you guys really aren't into this right now, but we do need to do this activity. And so if you need a few minutes to kind of get it together, I get that. But I'm just going to let you know, we are staying here and you're not going to recess until we complete this. So if I have to have you guys stay an extra 5 minutes instead of going to recess on time, then that's what we'll do.
How does that work as far as a class that does not bleed into recess time?
We don't have, we're very lucky that way. I have very clear class lines. So
does your so like the first class of the day, like
first class, so I would have just gone next door because we only have 2 classes per grade level, and I would have told Miss Clementson like, hey, I need them back. They're not going to recess until they do this activity. Or because they would have been in art, or I'll have them. Sometimes I have recess in the middle of a class, and so I'll just be like, oh, we're just gonna stay here.
Yeah, your schedule's different.
It is. My schedule is really different than yours, and I see my kids for a lot longer. So I just feel like I have more time to unpack that kind of stuff. Yeah. But also, I have found that if I talk to their classroom teachers, and say, hey, we didn't do this, and so I said they owe me, a certain number of minutes. I need to come to your class during recess so that we can do that. They're totally on board. Yeah. Totally supportive. Yeah. And you only have to do it once.
Sure.
To show that you mean business. Honestly, this year, I think I've had to do it twice, maybe. Twice. Yeah. No, for sure twice. And it doesn't take that long. Usually just me saying it is enough, but sometimes you have to show them that you mean business.
Totally.
Yeah. Yeah. And it just makes sense. It's like we have this academic goal. You're preventing us from getting there. We have to do this as a group. And so I'm going to be taking your free play time. Yeah.
Definitely. I feel like my consequence is, so I still use the slider. It's my quantitative gauge, I guess, for me to see like where the kids were at. And so if the kids get to a certain point, like that means, I guess, because unfortunately I can't do that I can, I guess, with recess. It just means it might coincide with another class. So I might have 2 classes in one, and I might have to talk to our CV president about that. But ultimately, like for me, is like, okay, well, that means that you can't sit because you can't sit next to the people you want to choose. I choose. So I have alternate.
Yeah.
I have given students the opportunity to sit where they want. I've also pulled away from them. So that's been like the collective consequence, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. Moving seats is good. I just make them sit on their number. And I've had a few classes where I'll have the teacher come and double check and make sure they're actually sitting on the real number. Because, yeah, we have a few that won't.
Sure.
Yeah. It
does unfortunately take out of time.
It does.
That's the downside, but
it does. It takes time.
Yeah.
But it's either you do like we said before.
I guess the last episode, yeah.
Yeah, you front load it or you deal with the consequences.
You run with the chaos.
Yeah, you got to pick. You got to choose your heart. I'd rather be in control of it. So. Yeah. Yeah, save yourself the time later.
Indeed.
Yeah. My grandmother always said, what is it? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of scrubbing when it comes to cleaning. It's like if you clean it up right away, it's super easy. But if it gets like dried and crusty, then you're there putting your elbow grease into it. It's the same with a lot of things. There's
this podcast I'm listening to called Politically Asian. And one thing they're talking about is if they're centralized in New York, and they're talking about the new security cameras that are aiming to be installed in the subway system, and they're saying if the crime happened, it's already too late.
Oh yeah,
like that's very true. Like if you're trying to have preventative, if you're trying to have issues that react to it, like it's already too late. Like, yeah, and so I agree with your
it's very true. Yeah, my grandma. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of scrubbing. Yeah, that it's true, and with kids, you need to have the consequence come immediately. Otherwise, it's not effective. If you wait till the next day or even the next hour, they won't remember.
It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, they don't care. Yeah, so it needs to be right away. I know there are some schools where you're not allowed to take any recess time at all. With ours, it's just they're not allowed to sit out and do nothing. Like we used to have kids basically lined up on the fence, and it's like you sit on the fence for 5 minutes, and then we had the whole. We don't do that anymore.
The thing is, same at our side, but it's just been confusing what you can do.
Yeah.
So
ours, it's just been really clear. Like they have to be doing something active, and so sometimes we'll have them run laps. Sometimes we'll have them do a reflection sheet later, like we have a school-wide think about it sheet.
I remember back when I was doing student teaching for high school, because they were both a physical education and also music because of marching band. They had them do push-ups.
Okay, that would work.
It's like I'm wondering if that would fall.
I don't know. What's the point of it? Is it just to make them do push-ups or?
Yeah, but for me, actually, I do push-ups when I get their name wrong.
Oh, funny.
Yeah, so it's like for kindergarten, it's 3 push-ups. For first grade, it's 5. It adds up to each one.
I still have my pocket full of nickels.
Oh.
If I get your name wrong, I owe you a nickel. They love it.
Okay.
Cost me $5 a year.
That's fair. It's not bad.
They love it.
It does get me active though.
I'll bet. Yeah. I don't even know if I can do one. I can't even do a girl push-up. These stringy arms. Maybe I should be doing push-ups.
Or some sort of, thing. They always like the accountability on your end.
They do. Yeah. They do.
That way I was reading an article.
They appreciate an adult who admits that they're not perfect.
That and also just it breaks the lines of, even though professionalism is important, professionalism to the degree where it's like where there's a separation between us and them. It's
you than me.
It's like it feels just we're people that we're both I know more than you at this moment.
Yeah.
about certain things.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean that I'm better than you. So like,
Right.
why not just jump into the dirt and do some push-ups?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and that's going from that factory model of education with the teacher as the expert to the teacher as the guide.
There is, I mean, I'm not going to talk too long about this, but to those, I had to do a research, not so much a paper. It was for my master's program on Ivan Illich. On decentralizing education. It was really great. But my professor was like, we're not doing an essay. We had to make a video on it.
Okay.
So it was a lot of fun. Anyways, check out Ivan Illich on that very notion. Worth it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a link to the video that you made?
Unfortunately, it was on my point limit email. And you all know what happened with point limit.
Sad.
I can upload actually onto my Mr. Seligman email. I have the hard copy. So yeah, give me a month. I'll be on YouTube. Oh, by the time this is released, on youtube.com/Mr. Seligman. MRSELIGMAN. Bonus. But yeah. Yeah, I also another thing that tries to make things familiar still is I do utilize the incentive system that the general ed classroom uses.
And so what is that?
Classroom money. But I rarely take away. I usually just
give out
praise.
Yeah.
And if I need to talk to a student, I will talk to a student, and they will lose their instrument for the moment. But like as far as I just hate writing a kid's name on the board with a negative. Like that's just I did my first year. I was like, ain't doing that again.
Yep. You know.
Yeah, you know. Well, my principal called me out at the time and is like, you know what? You're right.
Yep.
So
again with the public shaming.
Yeah.
Let's not do that anymore. Yeah.
There are better ways.
There are better ways. There are ways. And again, it goes back to what we were saying last time. Kids are very in their feelings, and how they feel will reflect in their behavior. So if they feel bad, they're going to make bad decisions. If they feel good, they are a lot more likely to make the decisions you want them to make.
And public shaming only works if we live in a culture where everyone adheres to it.
Yeah,
we don't.
Even then, it's not a great thing.
It's not a great thing, but it doesn't. I'm saying it doesn't work.
Yeah.
For the students you want it to work with, it won't work.
Yeah, that's true. That's
true. So unless again, the entire culture that
could create a little fourth grade class hero is what you're going to create. He's the cool kid now.
I mean, that's how social class works.
I mean, yeah.
But yeah, so I utilize now. So my approach currently, just coalescing everything I've said already, I still use the aggregate 4, 3, 2, 1 slider scale. And the consequences where they sit.
Okay.
And I utilize the systems that their general classroom utilizes so that it's familiar enough, but it's only for praise, and then anything else it's instrument taking away base for the moment. But I think staying away from shame, even if your intention's not shame, if the impact is shame,
it's not going to get you where you want to go.
Impact's more important than intent.
That's right. And with many things.
Yep. Thank you, Natasha, for that one.
Connection before correction.
Yeah.
Every time. I also want to talk about getting a whole class on board, because I have a very difficult 6th grade class. And it's been rough to kind of win them over and get them all enthusiastically on board.
That's me next year for me.
Is it? Yeah.
I told you about 5th grade cohort. It's the hardest one I've had.
Yeah, and then when all the puberty hits, it's already started. Be different.
But it boils up in 6th grade.
Yeah, it really does. They become young adults. That preteen, those years, they're very challenging.
Another episode, but I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on what if doing a K through 8 school, what would that be like?
Well, I have done that.
Okay.
That was the Catholic school.
Another time.
Pre-K to 8th grade.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was different.
Because we're talking about puberty and whatnot, so it's code shifting is entirely different.
Oh my gosh, it was really something when I taught pre-K and then walked across the street and taught 8th grade.
Oh, so you had physical.
Yeah, that was interesting. So it's a little tiny Catholic school in La Jolla, and it's on 3 street corners. So
fascinating. Okay,
so pre-K was on one corner, and then there was lower elementary, and then middle, and that would make a big difference. The space, it
differentiating where people.
But we did assemblies together. They all knew each other. It's a very small school. It's like 250 kids
total.
Really small. Really small. It was an interesting
class
job.
of 10.
It was very small. Yeah. it was really interesting. I learned a lot, and I'm really grateful for my experiences there. But yeah, we can talk about that another time.
Yeah.
But so whole class though.
Whole class.
So I've just been it comes down to about 5 kids that are really checked out. I think what it is they're just really self-conscious, and they are not willing to do anything that might make them look any kind of way in front of their classmates.
Yep.
And it's, I mean, even simple instructions like, okay guys, let's all stand up. And there's always like 2 kids that won't stand up, and it's like, I cannot proceed with this lesson while those 2 are seated. Because there's no chairs in my room, and they will get stepped on, and
there's your consequence.
It's now a
trampling.
Yeah, right.
let's reenact the moment
Jonathan,
of Simba and
physical
Mufasa.
safety is priority number 1. Yeah, and they will dig their heels in about stuff like that.
Yeah,
I'm not standing up, and so I've just decided, and their classroom teacher is on board with me because she's having the same issues. I have a list that I've given her of the kids that I know really enjoy music class and want to be there, but they might be afraid to volunteer to do stuff in front of those other guys because then, they'll get made fun of. And so I told her, hey, I have some special things that I want them to learn, and I'm going to feature them at the concert or at the district VAPA festival that you're putting together. And so anytime that there's any kind of, space in the schedule, or maybe you need to do a small group with some other kids, can you just send like a couple over and maybe like say it not under your breath, but be like, hey, Miss Pridmore said she wanted your help with something. Can you go over there and just every day have like 2 or 3? And so I've had big kid helpers come for like 15 minutes at a time to all my little kid classes. And also what was really cool, I did not plan on this. I came back from lunch with my 1st graders, and there were 7 6th graders waiting outside my classroom, and they said, hey, we wanted to know if we could practice during lunch.
That's awesome.
Like,
that's always the best.
It's the best. I was like, well, I have 1st grade right now, but why don't you guys play for them? And so I brought them in, and they gave a little mini concert, and it was so good. It was good for them, for the 6th graders, and it was really good for the 1st graders.
It's always good for when upper graders showcase themselves to the lower graders.
Yeah.
That's always good.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, that was a really beautiful moment. That was a nice, bright, shiny. And so I'm just like, just for my own feelings, I need to elevate it. And it's like, being in the classroom and trying to dig in with, all of my behavior strategies, they're not working. So what can I do to get outside that box? So that's what I'm doing right now. I don't know. I'll keep you updated on how it continues to go. So far, it seems like it might be working. Have you ever had to win over a really hard class like that, and how did it go?
Looking back into my memories.
Yeah, I mean, I know you've had challenges.
Yeah, I've had challenges. So specifically for the Too Cool for School element, because that's what seems like you're hitting.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Yeah, we're there.
Last year was tough in that regard. They were a great bunch of kids. They were so apprehensive to showcase themselves. I also one year, the other time was just early in my career, so it's hard for me to really think because I just wasn't really doing great curricular things in general. But
you were an overwhelmed early teacher.
Oh, I was overwhelmed early. Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus also doing a master's at the same time.
Yep.
I like what you're doing because I'm really a huge fan. If you want a turtle to get out of its shell, you don't knock it on. You can knock it on the shell.
Come out.
Or you can draw it out. Mm-hmm. So the question is, how are you going to draw them out?
Leave it a piece of lettuce.
Indeed, yeah.
Yes.
Either you toss them into the boiling pot or you give them a piece of lettuce. And so my dad used to share this was Aesop-esque kind of proverb whatnot about the cloud and the sun. They're trying to compete against each other, trying to get this man who had a jacket on. As like they said, the cloud says, I bet I can get that guy's jacket off. So he starts blowing, like wind so hard. The harder he blew, the guy held on to the jacket. And the sun is like, my turn. And then it just shined. And the warmth made him get the jacket off.
That's good.
Yeah. And so it just reminds me, it's like, okay.
I really like that.
Yeah. How are we going to force them off? We can definitely. The jacket will fall off if you keep on blowing hard enough. Yeah. Other things might fall off as well. But true. How are you going to draw them? So the fact that you're like giving praise to these kids to the point where hopefully the other kid, not everyone, but hopefully more kids will want to aggregately want to be praised as well.
Yeah.
Because do, like, I know you agree with this fully, but all kids are artists.
Yeah.
And it's just, students just feel apprehensive about their art.
They do. And I see them so little that I do what I can. And I'm out there at recess and I'm out there at lunch and I try to catch them before and after school. Sometimes you've got somebody who just doesn't want to learn from you. And that is a choice that they can make. And
it's not you. If they just don't want to learn. It's not.
Again.
Yeah.
They are not giving me a hard time. They are having a hard time. Yeah. Yeah. That's hard. I used to take every little bit of that personally. And you just can't. You won't last in this job if you do.
And also, it's just not true.
It's true. Yeah, it's not true.
That even more so, it's just not true.
It is just not true.
Not about you.
It's not you. And the only thing you can control is your own behavior.
And the environment that you have control over.
Yeah, sure.
Like you can help move the things around. You can move their spots around. Like those are things but yeah, you don't have control over their emotions.
No.
Never will.
Never. Yeah, I learned real quick after I became a mother that you can't make anybody eat or sleep anytime you want them to. You can't make anybody feel a certain way either. Yep. But you can provide opportunities for them to join you in your feelings. That's co-regulation. The
problem is, like, it's hard enough to try to get one person to do it. Now you think about the whole classroom.
It's very
tough.
hard.
It's tough. It's draining. It's what makes our job difficult.
And it's also what makes it so interesting. I love that it's never the same thing. It's a puzzle to figure out every day. It's just this labyrinth of emotions.
I wouldn't mind the puzzle being only 30 instead of 500. But, you can't get everything.
I think about that sometimes, and I honestly don't think I'd be happy with that.
Really?
Yeah, I really like that I get to be with so many people.
I do too.
I think it's really cool.
I think that small element is what I get when I have choir, but choir's getting big.
I know. Good for you.
Yeah.
That's really exciting.
For better and for challenge. Yes.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I feel complete.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a good spot to end.
I'm really curious though. Like I know we keep on. It feels almost like not even saccharine. It feels a little poly. I don't know. Like seriously, we would love to hear what your thoughts are. Like
we would.
This is not a Crystal me conversation. We could just have the mics off and have this conversation. We want to have you. So
I have heard a few of you tell us. I had a conversation with somebody at conference who was saying, "Oh yeah, I talk back at you guys all the time."
Well, talk back to us via text or
send us an email. We want to hear.
Yeah, a text-based response.
Yes.
So, and then also if you want to just email them, we can always read our response or such like we did before. Thank you for this conversation. And if you want to jump in, email us. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yep.
Spiccato after the break.
Spiccato after the break.
I want to take a quick break and thank my husband, Bryan, who's been working behind the scenes producing these episodes every week on all of the platforms and on time. But you need to know that he is first a financial planner for Mission Trails Financial. Mission Trails Financial is a partner that seeks to guide clients in the journey to financial success. They believe that people need a financial advisor that aims to provide strategies for success. Mission Trails Financial helps people navigate investments, tax planning, and insurance. Imagine working with an advisor who isn't tied to specific brands. Mission Trails Financial has a fiduciary responsibility to act in the best interests of their clients by providing independent, objective advice. Their mission is to help clients accomplish their financial goals. As Joe Vitale once said, a goal should scare you a little and excite you a lot. Do yourself a favor and set up a time to chat with Mission Trails Financial. Visit www.missiontrailsfinancial.com or call 619-419-0238 to schedule a call. You'll be glad you did. We believe that leaning on professionals is how we get ahead. Check out the program notes for more information.
And we're back.
And hard left turn. Thank you so much, everyone. Episode 75. I know we already reached our 75th episode of last week, but hey, why not add a +1? It's been great having you along. It's been great reading your emails. In between the break, we read some emails. It was great. So thank you so much. I really do. From me personally, I know Crystal as well, but I personally just love this community that we've kind of fostered. So thank you so much for all your responses through Facebook, email, whatever. What helps us grow? Leave a review. So, and talk to your friends. Tell your friend. Tell your wife. Tell your partner, your kid. have your kid also leave a review. Why not? And leave a review 5 stars. 5 stars is the only one offerable. And if you want to write down a review, we will read it on air like we did 2 weeks ago with B. Arbra. So please. Also, if you're on YouTube or not on YouTube, it doesn't take that much effort to get a YouTube account. So leave it. Leave us a like, subscribe. It helps once again this visibility and what keeps his lights on. As much as we love this, it does help us. If you want to toss a buck our way, we have a patreon.com/chclassroom. We have a lot of different tiers, so you can get different stuff from us. If you don't have any money, that's okay. This podcast is available for free as it should be, but it does help these lights. Thank you. Now,
are you ready for Spiccato?
Let's do
I'm
it.
really excited about this one. So I got these. They are wooden breathing cards for calm down corners.
Okay.
And they are from a social media account called the Therapist Parent or something
Therapist
like that.
Parent.
Yeah, and they're really wonderful. So they're about the size of coasters. I think you get 10 of them, and they're 8. They come in sets of 8, and they're just different shapes. So I don't know if you've heard of like square breathing, where if you can do this right now, if you've got a free hand, you just draw a square in the air with your pointer finger. Now, when we go up, we're gonna breathe in. When we trace across the top, we hold. Breathe down, going down. Or breathe out, going down, and then hold. That's square breathing.
I do the hand breathing.
Hand breathing is another shape. Yeah. So with this one, you get a square, a heart, a triangle, an infinity sign. I handed you a butterfly. So when I left for conference, I left a breathing card on each of my boys' pillows with a note that said, "Breathe and remember, mommy loves you." And I have a stack of these breathing cards in my calm down corner at school. And I've used them in lessons.
Cool.
But I wonder what you would do with them.
They don't match. They're all unique.
They're all different.
What would be cool is, part of me feels like, I'm specific since we have the mariposa, the butterfly. It'd be cool if half the class breathes the hand, and through the breathing, the other side of the class knows where they are, and then breathe out, the rest of the class becomes butterflies around the class.
Ooh.
And then when they breathe in, they freeze. Wow.
Then move on the out.
Yeah.
That's a lovely idea.
At least that would work with butterfly. I'm not sure about the infinity, but I'm sure there's things you could utilize. Like, I don't know, maybe for the triangle, like, for the triangle, they are a shape, they're a pose.
Yeah.
Once they breathe out, they can
shift.
They can move, but we can move back. And then once they breathe in, they're frozen again.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like these because they're so tactile.
Yeah.
They're actually laser cut.
Right.
So they have a texture, so you're supposed to run your finger along the cutout to breathe in and breathe out. So for the butterfly, you trace the butterfly's wings and you breathe out, hold, breathe in, hold. And so I showed the whole class how to use them when I first got them. And I said, these are going to be on the calm down desk. If you need to go and trace your finger around them, then you can do that. And you can take a breath. You can take a break. And I've had kids who just need to go put their heads down for a while and breathe, and I'm fine with that. But we did some activities. So I had them breathe in and out, and then we did the life cycle of the butterfly with the butterfly breathing one. And I have a butterfly meditation. So we did like a butterfly mindfulness moment, and it's like 2.5 minutes. And actually it is a video that I will put on the Patreon.
Okay.
And so
there we have it.
Yep. I will put my butterfly video for you on the Patreon if you would like, with the script that's meant to be read by the teacher.
Cool.
Yep.
Awesome.
So there you go.
What would you do? Let us know.
With some breathing cards. These are from Generation Mindful. It's genmindful.com.
We'll put on the program notes.
Wooden breathing cards. Yes. I will make sure that is there.
Yeah.
All right, my friend.
Round of the week.
Round of the week.
Round of the week. This one is not a round. It is a partner song. It is not a circle. It's a partner song. So I teach a song of the month, and I do a different song every month, and I try to pick one that I think that the kids ought to know. So we start every day with song. We start our announcements at school with a song. So Monday through Thursday, it's whatever the song of the month is, and then Friday we do our school song. We have a really great school song. So this one is Lift Every Voice and Sing, which is our September song of the month. And I wrote a partner song to go along with it. So have you heard of Amanda Gorman's book, Change Sings? Mm-hmm. It's beautiful.
You did this, didn't you? For
I did. I presented it to the district music teachers.
The district chair?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I did. So I shared it with our little group.
I like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I've been teaching this to the whole school, and the goal is to do Lift Every Voice and Sing with the partner song that I wrote. And we sing the partner song with Change Sings, and then we put them together at the end. Cool. So we're going to start with Lift Every Voice and Sing, and then I'm going to have you sing Lift Every Voice and Sing, and I will sing I Am the Change.
Can we start with I Am the Change? Because Lift Every Voice Sings, some people might know it. I Am the Change,
Sure.
No one knows it.
Okay, we can do that. Those are the only words, is I am the change.
Okay.
I am the change the world needs. That's it. So it goes like this. I am the change. I am the change. I am the change the world needs. I am the change. I am the change. I am the change the world needs. That's it. So I just take my little ukulele and I play that as we read through Amanda Gorman's book, and we talk about what are things we can do to make the world a better place. And I just can't think of a thing that I want in my kids' heads more than I am the change the world needs.
Yeah.
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 Yep. So lift every voice. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let a rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Nice. Boom bam.
Boom bam.
Boom bam.
Bit bop bop.
You know.
Boom.
That's it.
Cool. I love it. I love it.
Good. I'm glad you do. My kids like it too. It's really sweet. They go through the hallway singing it.
Maybe enough for another month. We'll put that up there.
Yeah. Cool. All right.
Awesome. If they want to, hear more of your lovely work or want to reach out to you, how can they reach out to you?
You can find me on social media. You can find me on Instagram, Mrs.Pridmore. You can find me at crystalpridmore.com. You can see school stuff at the occasional tweet at Finny Vappa.
Awesome. And you can find me at Mr. Seligman, MrSeligman, on all the socials, be it Twitter, be it Instagram. We'll see. We'll see how wild Twitter gets from here on. It's right now before Thanksgiving, so who knows what's going to happen. But Twitter, Instagram, right now I am experimenting with Hive. So if you want to find me on Hive Social, be my third subscriber as of the year of our Lord 2022.
Two now.
Yeah. As of the past 40 minutes we recorded since. So yeah, Hive is an option. Also on YouTube, youtube.com/Mr. Seligman. You can find us though at CH Classroom on all the socials. We don't have a Hive yet, but if you want us to get one, let us know.
Let us know.
Also on youtube.com/ so you need to have the at there, at ch-class. That's our new link to make it just more compressed, whatnot. But if you want to email us, before we email, if you want to help us, you can always put us on patreon.com/chclassroom or email us at chaoticharmonyclassroom@gmail.com. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening, you guys.
Thank you.
Bye. The Chaotic Harmony podcast is a joint project between Crystal Pridmore and Jonathan Seligman. You can find us online at chaoticharmonyclassroom.com. You can email us at chaoticharmonyclassroom@gmail.com and let us know what you think. Give us feedback about what you would like to hear in future episodes. We're on all the socials. Find us on facebook.com/chaoticharmonyclassroom. You can find us on Twitter at @CHClassroom, Instagram at Chaotic Harmony Classroom, and you can even find our episodes on YouTube. Chaotic Harmony is the name of our channel. Special thanks to Bryan Pridmore for his help with production and equipment. www.pridmoria.com.